She would always wonder how she could be one-track-minded and yet so unfocused at the same time. But there she was, unable to shift her sights to something else, with no other interest in literally anything else. But the slightest sound, the smallest movement, the tiniest reminder of a chore, and she was off, bounding out the door of her mind, only to find she had a hard time getting back in again, which made her cross with herself. She would flap, slap, and cry, rock herself and agonize over the hows and whys she could hear but not listen. Is it all part of the condition, or is she distant by design? And God, was she impatient? It was so clear that she couldn't wait for anything. As soon as a thought entered her head, she bought into it. She caught the bug for it and saw nothing else. And if something stood in her way, she'd relentlessly fight all day and night to have her say, until it took its hold around her, bound her, confusing her, consuming her, till she pushed everyone away, which she claimed was for the best. But in truth, she was obsessed with pleasing people because she couldn't stand the mess she found herself in when someone rejected her. She'd attempt to entertain, but would overcompensate for the isolating pain that historically put a strain on sustaining friendships. When she spoke, it was the first time she'd heard the words, spilling out with the worst timing and never rehearsed. No inner monologue, no filter, off-kilter, abrupt and interrupting, her own secrets erupting. She would open herself up like a door swinging wide, letting anyone in, because the more the merrier, and the less likely they were to break her in or put up a barrier. And she was desperate to impress, so offered to help absolutely everyone with absolutely everything. She took so much on until the hours, the minutes, the seconds were gone from her day, and she broke herself in anyway. A broken brain that could only gain so much information in one day till it's full to the brim and nothing else will go in, and there's a malfunction in processing. She didn't sleep. Not a case of she couldn't or needn't, but she wouldn't, because there's no damn time. Daily discoveries fail to become memories. She faced time blindness, face blindness, things that remind us where we belong. So where did she belong? In her pit of exhaustion, paralyzed with the lights scorching the insides of her eyes and the sounds of the TV competing with the screeching of next door's children and loud eating from the kitchen in time with the ticking clock. And then it stopped. Her mind drowned her and wound her so tight that her body couldn't compete, always incomplete and unfulfilled. She didn't give up. She was killed by her shadow, taking the wheel, making her feel like she didn't have a real place in the world. She overcompensated. She feared and she hated the idea she wouldn't succeed or plant her seed to leave behind a legacy. And now I'm looking down at her, lying still on the sofa with her unwashed hair and baggy clothes she's worn on her back since Tuesday. She's just lying there, not breathing, heart not beating, with the world carrying on like nothing's wrong, and I realize she is me. I'm looking at me in the near future, the creator, the producer who couldn't leave her computer for more than an hour or switch off her brain in order to maintain some self-care and find some light again. I look at me now and start to see how I'm burning myself out. And I realize I need to stop